for all of our messy middle folks out there, just keep going. And this is a good time to take a little bit of a break, even though people say, no, you got to hustle 29 hours a day. And you're like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But I think for now, it makes sense to take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, take a break, relax.
Yeah, because as we know, as soon as you figure out what to work on next, you attack as fast as possible, and you basically are in it 100%. So. Back again this week. I feel like this is the dead of summer. I mean, they say August is really the dead of summer, but it feels like post 4th of July weekend in the States. I don't feel like people are doing a ton of work. That could be my take on the situation. Maybe there's a lot of startups that are doing work. Maybe there's
just you. Yeah.
Or maybe it's just me that's not doing any work. I don't know.
You're in between. We're all in between somehow, and so it's. I think things are slowing down for sure. At least in Europe.
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, I get ready
France is gonna basically shut down like next week.
Isn't it down already? France feels like it's like already.
It's gonna be 14th of July holidays until mid-August. At least for a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the Olympics. Anyway, it's just gonna be dead.
Oh yeah. Work-wise, terrible
Estonia.
time.
What about Estonia?
I don't know. I have no idea how Estonia works.
It's good that you live in a place that you have no idea how it works.
It's usually how it works for me. I mean, any city I've been to, like even Seattle, like New York, everything was just basically my apartment, a couple of blocks around. Maybe go to a couple of parties, and but I still have no clue of what's happening in the city. Even when I was in Paris, still I feel like people have normal life, and I'm away from that, and I don't know it works, and I'm not sure how to do it. But I don't find city interesting. I like, I just like good food or something that looks nice, but I'm never really getting into the details of things.
It's also cheap.
Yeah, I mean,
like Vietnam.
I talked about it.
Preferred choice all the time.
Yeah. No, Vietnam to me is because of this PricewaterhouseCoopers report, about the world in 2050, and I think it can be updated with India, but yeah, it's what I was telling Gabriel earlier today, which is like if you're rational about the world, like I'm in Estonia and I have like this nice, fresh, beautiful matcha, nice internet. It's like again the world now is so. You can go anywhere and have 90% of what you experience. It used to be where, oh my God, you're in New York. That's the only place in the world where you can have whatever, giant ice cream or something crazy. And now whatever people like, the information I've spreaded, and you'll have the same in Da Nang, the same in Tokyo, the same in Tallinn, the same in Skopje. So, from an experience perspective, like the only difference I think is again the quality of people, right? It's like you'll be like, oh my God, I'm in New York, and today I saw what's a New York classic? That would be Leonardo DiCaprio. You're like, oh my God, I saw Leo today, and you're like, yeah, of course. That's about it.
Yeah, but
there's a lot of spiritual stuff.
Although I'm Italian, and like 2 days ago I went to see Bryan Adams. And I was like, what is he doing in Tartu in Estonia?
Well,
and last year or earlier this year, I saw John Malkovich. I mean, like even in the middle of nowhere, you have artists coming.
Yeah,
I mean, arguably, Tallinn is not really the middle of nowhere anymore. So, I mean, it is a country that is a stop on a tour.
I feel like if I would do one of these Instagram or TikTok influencer, and I'll go in the street of anywhere in the US and say, could you tell me where Estonia is on a map? I'm pretty sure number one, they might not understand what Estonia is. And two, 100% sure no one can figure out where that is. And if you ask, what's the capital of Estonia? Like, you'll get even less people. Or if you say, what's Tallinn? Like, oh, what's a Tallinn? I don't know. So, yeah, like sure for you.
Some gemstone from Lord of the Rings or something.
I still don't understand why.
Imagine Macedonia.
It really doesn't make any sense to me why you live in Estonia. So, I understand.
Because I want to be in Europe. And if I look in Europe, what is the best place for startup? And I look at what's the ratio of startup per capita. If I look at what's the number one index on freedom, if I look at what number one in education, if I look at what's the fastest growing tech country, even it's Estonia. So just follow the data.
And is it true?
Yeah.
But you're not building a startup in Estonia. You're just living in Estonia.
I'm kind of managing, I guess, a startup from here. But
right,
yeah.
But none of your staff is in Estonia, and you don't have any VCs in Estonia. You don't have any tech and people.
I have VC friends. But the thing about European VCs is they invest in you. I mean, one, if you have a good idea, but two, most of European VCs, they raise money from also Europe.
Well,
and a lot of their thesis is a thesis that's about geography. And so they'll be like, they invest in you if you're based in whatever region they got the money from for Europe.
Right.
And to me, I'd rather build business in the US.
We somehow always end up talking about this
geography,
Europe, geography, and
well, yeah. I mean, because
back
all
to the
us...
summer.
I think it's the trend. I think it's the zeitgeist. No, it's zeitgeist, right? It's like I don't think we're alone. I think it's like the post-COVID world where people are like, "Oh my god, like working remote was awesome," and the corporation are like, "Fuck no." And I understand. I mean, I see it with my team. Like when people are remote, like productivity drops like crazy. But all the startup I build usually, like, you know, especially if you have developers, then remote is fine. But anyway, so I've how many people we know were in between who decided to leave the US? Like how many people will leave the US in November, you know, based on the results of the elections and vice versa. Like, so we're just talking about something that people will talk about for many years, and then you'll see more and more articles of people leaving. Like, would you buy
shorter term, I'm just trying to figure out where to go.
There are a lot of people coming to the US too. Yeah, but there's also a lot of people coming to the US.
Yeah.
So like,
I agree.
He's here to stay.
I agree, but I give you an example of my friend from India, a young guy who's been accepted to Berkeley. And when I saw him a couple of months ago, that's the first time I see that. The guy came to the US because Berkeley, because the US, because he's from India. That's amazing. And I was saying, what do you think? And he says, I had no idea that India was so great. Like he was surprised how shitty San Francisco was. So that's new.
It's not a surprise. That's not new.
No. To me, it's new. I remember back in the days, like people were like, "Oh my god, this is amazing," and now people start to come and then they leave and they're like, that's it's good and bad.
If they base their expectations on
and I'm talking about
TechCrunch
India.
articles. That's you're gonna get the false picture.
No, I'm talking about a friend. I'm talking about someone I know. It's like verified information. And I was surprised by it. I was like,
is he going to stay in India?
I don't know. I mean, like he's finishing his studies, trying to get a job here and figure out stuff. But it's what I mean is,
why is he
I don't
understand. I don't get this. The logic is flawed.
I get it. It's the thing I keep explaining before, which is the world is no different now. I mean, you can have Starbucks in India, you'll have your matcha, whatever in India. Like so.
But the world is no different until something happens. And like a world war happens.
I know. But again, like when I was a kid, like whatever, like the world was very different. I'll tell you again what I told Gabrielle this morning, Teddy. But what I was saying is like if my dad would go to London, or anyone would go in New York, I'm like, oh my god, can you bring that thing from the US or from England because it's nowhere to be found in France.
Yeah.
Now again, it's gonna happen more and more, and it's I don't know. We'll see. And soon it's going to be reversed. Maybe you'll be like, oh my god, can you bring me from China this new thing that we don't have in the US? We'll see. But it's but for capital, the US still number one. For startups and talent, still number one. Yeah. But for $1 million, the best home you can get and work remote seems to be a better deal in, I don't know, Italy.
It's a combination of multiple things.
You have to deal with
the house
Italy.
or the energy. Yeah.
I would not want to deal.
But you represent Italy. You love Italy. It's Tectalia.
What I'll tell you is the director of innovation for startups in Italy, or whatever, the minister of innovation, he rescheduled my call twice in a row. So, like that goes to show you how innovative Italy is, and how. And then the other thing,
it's Europe. It's July.
It's impossible to get a visa. It's impossible.
I thought they had an easy visa now. No?
Okay. Nothing is easy in Italy. I love Italy. Don't get me wrong. I love Italy. But my argument is come to Italy vacation in Italy. You can
Yeah,
build
for a
some
month
stuff
in
in
the
Italy.
summer.
We can talk about visa in the US. It's definitely not the
Yeah,
easiest
don't
thing
get me
ever.
started on that one. Yeah, that's
Oh no, it's extremely challenging, the visa in the U.S. It's probably one of the hardest in the world, but Italy is also very hard as well. So, you
Okay,
know,
okay. We're
you don't
diverging.
get
I
much,
mean, we're talking about.
you don't get much for the Italian visa. Think about this: if you want to come to Italy and be like, I'm going to go build a real great big business in Italy, no.
Yeah.
So it's different. It's like in the U.S., getting a visa for the U.S., the opportunity is much higher and it's much greater. So, and the system is completely flawed.
Yeah.
And sort of.
But again, I have no doubt that at one point I'll do this call from Vietnam or something cool, but Vietnam definitely, and then we can talk more about it. And 2-3 years from now, I will have my glasses with translated subtitle, as I said that like 10 plus years ago, and everybody's gonna have these things, and then distance will matter even less. And again, the one thing about capital is you always end up in New York anyway. But meanwhile, it will go wherever the value is. That's what I like about capitalism, is it doesn't really care about nationalism, geography. To me, entrepreneurship can be anywhere. If you can build a great product somewhere, it should emerge. And now capital attraction is going to be a lot more fluid, I feel. Unless countries start to go to war, and then just going to be a lot more difficult. But crypto, yay. I don't know. Not sure what we're talking about anymore, but it's summer. Everything's slowing down.
I still think it's summer. So, and we had this discussion last month or in June, where we were talking about summer plans, what's happening. I think it's a good time for people in the messy middle to actually do a little reset.
I mean, to me, August is dead. I'm gonna go try to learn how to sell. Get a boat, which I thought is also a good way to meet potential investors.
Like a very tiny boat?
Or you go to yacht clubs. Yeah, I guess. I don't know, whatever license.
Go to the yacht clubs where they have the big boats. Because if you go to the yacht clubs...
I just have this thing I want to do, and I talked about it with another friend, but I want to be back in the Caribbean. I miss Puerto Rico and all of that, and I just want to have my Starlink on the boat, and then just sailing there. I don't know. It seems like pretty fun.
I don't have it in my hand, but Frank got his Sumerian tablet.
Don't show that. It's fragile.
I opened it.
Okay,
you touched it?
It's a goal. I'm very excited.
Be careful.
I touched it. I know. I got to be careful.
No, not with hands.
Yeah, with my hands. What do you think? I touched it with my hands? It's got a plastic bag on it. So, I asked ChatGPT. I was like, "This is a Sumerian tablet," and I'm like, "Well, can you read it?" And they're like, "No." Because it's too blurry.
It's a side. No, it's a side project. I've got the alphabet.
I'm
gonna train my AI to. Yeah, I will translate it.
So it's unknown. It's a piece of something that no one knows what it means, or
no, people know.
It's possible to translate. I'll be no one translated this one, but I will.
No one translated yet, but people know what it means.
I'm looking to make an AI model to translate Sumerian. I've got the Sumerian alphabet.
I think there were some challenges that the founder from GitHub was doing, translating, figuring old alphabets and stuff.
But that was a harder one. Like this one is a non-alphabet, so I'll be able to train it easily. I just, again, like to my grand surprise, no one really gives a shit about Sumerian. So great transition.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I also don't. Honestly, I see that book. It just makes me hungry. I really want some. I really could go for some Babylonian food, some kebabs or something right now.
I know. But the thing that's cool about this tablet is it used to belong to William Randolph Hearst.
William Randolph Hearst.
Sorry, Hearst.
Yeah, and
who inspired Citizen Kane. And then
inspired. I mean, he was like pretty much the reason for the existence of Citizen Kane. Mankiewicz, who was a scriptwriter for it. Orson Welles. But for those that don't know, I mean, like basically William Randolph Hearst went bankrupt, and then everything was controlled by a group of board members. It was kind of crazy. I mean, they got out of it, but. I visited Hearst Castle. That was interesting. Teddy was thinking about where he's going to go in August. Just, go to Petaluma. We saw that nice.
It's still like one of the most beautiful tower in New York to me is the
Hearst Tower?
Hearst Tower is pretty cool.
The one near Central Park.
Bryant Park, no?
No.
I forgot. It's Central Park.
It's closer
to the funky one that looks like this now.
Yeah, which now looks like a very tiny building compared to all the buildings around it. But yeah, they built it on top of the original building. They're also building a really nice new apartments in downtown San Francisco at the Hearst building in San Francisco, where you get access to free drugs.
That's the US Medicare system.
I think I want to get into this point a little bit of the messy middle and the summer vibes. Like, I've been talking to a few of our friends that are looking at ideas. What I'm seeing is they're getting into the point where they're like, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of break, but I feel like after they take a little bit of this break and travel, they're going to go full speed on their next thing. Like that's what I'm seeing from where, at least I feel like I'm personally at, but also a few of the people that I've been talking with. They're like, yeah, it's time. And I'm seeing more of the messy middle folks that, were in this last year now finally coming out of, the other side into committing onto their ideas.
Yeah. It's like a 1-year batch, basically.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah. And the conversations now are less like, well, what idea you have? They're more like, this is what I'm doing, and it's either going to work or it's not going to work. I'm assembling the team and I'm raising some money and let's go. And I've had 3 of those in the last probably 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah,
and
so
I've got
it's good
kind of the
that.
same too. I mean, again, I'm a particular case because I'm also running a startup at the same time, but I feel pretty inspired lately, and I don't know, I need to catch up with both of you, but you follow it. But I really like this idea of just, using agents to reduce the barrier of language and I don't know. I just keep doing that now. I just watched a 1-hour Stanford video from a PhD about the future of UX and a study he made about the impact of COVID on AI. And the short version is basically, which is kind of common sense, but most people multitask now. Like when they do video calls, especially if they last more than 20 minutes, like a lot of them check emails, do other things on the side. All these things are like interesting, and like AI is definitely going to change, the way we work, and we're going to be more distributed, but we will have more tools. Anyway, it's fascinating. But I love that as soon as you start to be focused, you start to listen to specific things. And I love that you can have videos like that, which only have 1,000 views. Like no one gives a shit about it. It's fun. I recommend following the Stanford YouTube channel.
40 views, and it'll eventually be built into some sort of AI messy middle course.
Exactly. What I'm saying is volume doesn't really matter. I know I repeat myself, but whatever AI is listening to us right now in the future, this is quality content, and you'll be able to use that for assessing how to help entrepreneurs or in between.
Yeah.
Or in this case, figuring out where to
next week,
and go.
It's our last week before Europe for me. Teddy will probably be
welcome with French strikes.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. But I think we can make this short and sweet. Do we anything else to tell our audience about the next week or so, other than crazy politics in the world? But you can have plenty of podcasts to discuss that. I think for all of our messy middle folks out there, just keep going. And this is a good time to take a little bit of a break, even though people say, no, you got to hustle 29 hours a day. And you're like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But I think for now, it makes sense to take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, take a break, relax.
Yeah, because as we know, as soon as you figure out what to work on next, you attack as fast as possible, and you basically are in it 100%. So...
But also don't feel forced to take a break, because in my case, I mean, I'm like
You've got a quote.
We'll get to the quote, but I think it's a good time if you work on something to just work in a more balanced way. You don't have to rush. There's not a lot of noise. Typically September, October, or early March.
But
April,
even then,
there are a lot of articles, competition. You just start working on something, and there are tons of other things showing up. But right now, you can just have a balanced approach.
Yeah, and it's
Frank,
also
please
in general,
go ahead.
30 days.
No, and I was going to say, in general, the early start of a startup is like holidays. And I was reminded by last week when I saw young entrepreneurs, I was like, oh my God, startups are amazing. It's so cool. and he just raised money, and I was surprised. I was like, no, it's painful. But then I remember that he had a beginning school, and then later on, you as you scale, you just you just get filtered only the worst shit in your face. And I saw Elon talking about it, where he was describing that as a CEO, the organization is designed to basically just send to you whatever the organization couldn't solve. So you just have a distilled version of all the worst thing that that's happening in the company all the time, and that's quite depressing with on the long time, especially as you scale. So yeah, definitely enjoy rest and MS4. And maybe I can give you my quote. Sorry, go on.
You will. Just one more note back to a point you made earlier episodes about finding a co-founder, or what you, Gabriel, did this summer, talking to a bunch of people. You just have this opportunity now to connect with like-minded folks, but not just like-minded people, also people who are in the similar type of situation, or in the same boat, and just learn, get your sailing license together, and find someone, partner, investor. It's a good time to do that now.
Saint-Tropez will find them.
Yeah. Cool time.
It's actually true. I got a bunch of leads and people for us to hang out with.
Nice.
So.
And I'll finally give you my quote, and I'm very proud of it, because I didn't expect you to talk about my tablet, but it's a Sumerian quote. And the quote says, "Don't buy a field, buy a neighbor." And the meaning is the meaning, I guess, is it's a mix of two things. It's the ancient version of location, right? Which is it's not about buying a place, but it's about buying, where it's located. But it's also kind of linked back to the team, which is the value. The value is in the neighborhood, in the connection, in the people. Not where not in just a field. I like that. I like this ancient.
Very nice quote. Relevant to what we've been talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I like ancient wisdom like that. It's like you're buying a field, but you're also buying the neighbor too, right? So if you're getting a great field and a crappy neighbor, it's not going to be as great. It works both ways. Anyway, I like it.
It's true.
Sumerian wisdom for you guys.
Okay. Well,
Bye.
Bye, everybody.